Today I got an Ariens rototiller RT7020 and got this from my cousin. He gave it to me for free, and just needs probably a little work to get it going, and we'll kind of see what it has and what it doesn't, and make a plan. It's got a Tecumseh 7-horse horizontal shaft engine. I can see the tire is dry rotted and down. It only holds air for an hour or two. Maybe if you pumped it up quick you can get a job done, but we're not going to go there. Also, I noticed the tires are on reverse from the way you would want to have traction in the forward gear, so I'm going to actually flip those while I have the one tire off already. I'm going to put a tube in that tire because the tire's probably good enough, and those kind of tires are kind of expensive compared to a tube, and I think we'll be okay. The cracks you see there usually disappear when you get it back to round and inflated again. Other than that, it's just missing the belt guard. No big deal there. I don't think anybody's going to stick their hand in it. Yeah, it's got powered reverse. It's a rear tine, which is desirable. So let's see what we can do here. Just a little more on the walk around. I guess this is forward, neutral, reverse. To swivel the handlebars. Handlebar swivel. Does it have handlebar swivel? Push to swivel, release to lock. Oh yeah, I guess they do. Something happens down there. Do they go up and down? No, they go side to side. So I guess if you were up against something, or you didn't want to walk in the path you were rototilling. Whoa, almost flipped the whole trailer over. This tire here looks fine yet. Looks like the muffler is a little pooched. Not that you're going to start a forest fire if a spark comes out, but I'll see. If those are cheap enough, I might get one of those. May have to go through the carb, don't know. See if there's any fuel in it. No, so that's probably a really good sign. Fuel filter looks like it's been there a while, but nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't mind shortening this loop, I think, maybe. Sometimes if you were to get water in your gas, it would all sit down here and then slowly bubble up, whereas if you had more of a gravity feed, it might, not a loop in the bottom there, it might act better for you if you were to leave crappy gas or get some gas with water in it. See a little debris. I don't think anybody's been making a home in there, but I might blow that out or take the top tin off there. Just kind of giving it a general run once over here. Anyway, I think I'll start with the tires just to get it so I can move it around while I'm working on it. So for those that didn't understand what I meant by the tires were on backwards, the chevron pattern, the points should face to the front, so the dirt upon traction would shed to the outside. Not a major deal, just swap them side for side. I'm going to take them both off, put a new tube in the one that's leaking, and swap them while I'm doing it. For something like this, I'm just going to jack up the front here just so I don't have to lift it in the back. In the back, there's a kickstand / drag foot that should hold us relatively steady there, or it'll just tip back on the tines. Let's see how it works out. There's a nice counterweight under here. Perfect. Stud type with the Ariens logo in the middle. That's one. Ladies and gentlemen, between that point over there, walking around here with lug nuts in my hand and taking off that wheel, I have lost a lug nut that size and cannot find it. I got the tire closer in so I can take a look at it. See, even with the air in it now, those cracks have pretty much closed back up. It's not like the tire is going to tear off. This is not pushing that much traction like a I don't know, a tractor might or something where you know you could get some shearing forces here and snap that tire off. It'll never be that kind of pressure on a rototiller, so we'll be fine with just a tube. This is a tire valve stem removing tool. This side pulls the stems. This side can rethread the threads if they get buggered up. This side is for redoing the inside of the thread, and this is for fixing the seat inside there where the core lands. We won't need to rebuild anything here because this valve stem is going to get taken out because of course the tube has its own. That's the valve stem core. If you were going to rethread the threads inside there, it'd be this one. If you were going to redo the seat area where that goes, you'd reface it by doing that and turning it. We don't need to do that. I'm just going to take this valve stem out and then we'll see how easy it is to get this off the rim or not. And now you can see by taking the air out, it starts going bad again. That was obviously the low spot. It was sitting, this was the lowest spot where it had sat for a while. So now I just need to get the valve stem out. There's a pulling tool. You could use right angle pliers or you know, end nippers, but you can just pull it off like that. Okay, a little piece stayed behind. I can either try to get it or push it through, getting it a little piece at a time. Now I pushed it through, so I got to remember to grab that out of there before I put the tube in. I'm going to try with a screwdriver just to see if I can get this off of here. Sometimes they're really not on there that tight, and other times they're just impossible. Oh, that would come right off. Nothing to it. Now I got the back side facing up, or the other side. Let's see if it'll come just as easy. This will make it easier to change. There you go. What you want to do is you want to get that down in the groove there. Get that off center. Now you can push this way and get much bigger gap, which is what's needed to get a tube in. Okay, I've got the piece of broken valve stem or remnant valve stem out, and I'm going to put a tube in there. You just go by what size the tire is. Tube's the same one. I recommend Carlisle. I've had some of the other offshore brands. This one says made in Vietnam, but anyway, everything I've ever seen with the Carlisle name on it, they seem real supple, and you know, sometimes you pop them while you're putting them in, the other ones. So I recommend that brand. I'm not affiliated in any way, but I just like to call out whoever's doing a good job making stuff. If you ask 50 people how to put in a tube, 50 people will give you a different answer, so I'm going to do it the way I know. Start here, put that in the valve stem hole. And again, you want to take this part of the tire, push it down in the drop center. Now you can see that slid over. I got a lot more area here, a lot more gap here than I had before. Get that started up through. Now just to keep that in place, I'm going to use the same tool I used before. Screw it onto the valve stem. That way, no matter how I tug and pull, it's not going to come and get out of position or poke back through, which would be a problem. Now the rest of it is just being careful not to poke the tube, at least if you do it the way I do it. Don't poke the tube and just fold it down in there. Get it started in one spot, move over, get the inner lip in all around. Maybe I'll go this way a little bit, see if this will go easy on this side. If you wanted to make this easier, some people put baby powder on this, talcum powder, whatever. Might help it go in good. And there we go. Pull this up all the way before you put any air to it. And in there right now, that tube is unfolding, finding the diameter of the tire, all that. So I may air it up and bring it down a couple times just to make sure it's not got any kinks in it or is caught anywhere. Back up the running pressure. Put our dust cap back on. We're ready to go. And I've got it on backwards. these aren't threading just right. This one here is still cross-threaded. There it goes. Nice. Get this baby down off the jack and onto its own feet. And now we got it so we can move it around and work on it properly. Normally you'd start with the engine to make sure it's even a viable candidate. Pretty sure this one is. I don't think he said there was any issues with it as he put it away last time. He just doesn't garden anymore. So that's the kind you want to get if you had a choice rather than an unknown. So on this one I'm fine with not going to the engine next. So as far as appearance, what I can see is that fuel tank is cocked a little bit to the side there, and it's got some metal underneath that kind of cradles it. Two little things like that and two little indents in the tank. I'm going to try to get it to settle down in those indents again. I have a feeling it's run into a garden shed or garden stakes too many times and just got bent back and won't spring back now. So let's see what we can do with that. Yeah. That way it'll be able to drink all its fuel. Otherwise it was tipped back quite a bit. Now I do see just a little bit of debris around this spark plug hole. Sometimes these air fins, the air flows into in through the front and through fins out here cooling the engine. If those are plugged, you won't cool the engine. So normally you wouldn't want to disturb the head gasket or anything, but I'm going to take this plate off anyway. Because I think I'd rather disturb a head gasket and risk that rather than have an engine blow up because it can't get cooled. Okay, it's mostly clean. It's just right around this plug, as you can see. Because if you let this heat up, the only way this engine gets cooled is air. So if you let this heat up, it's going to blow a head gasket anyway. So you're probably better off risking it now. It's like little pieces of acorn and, you know, whatever gets in an engine. I'll blow that out some more, bring you back. Alright, looking much better. Could have been overkill. Might have blown out by itself, but when you see it in there, you just don't know how extensive it is till you open it. This one has some adjustability. I'm just going by where the bolt was before. I didn't take those off, I'm just double checking them. Check oil. Oh dear, terribly low on oil, terribly. Okay, because I'm low on oil, I'm just going to add oil to this oil. I want to run it a little bit, get it stirred up, then drain the oil, you know, give it another oil change. Alright, now I'm going to check for spark, ignition. And what I'm going to do there, no air filter. What I'm going to do there is, first of all, I'm going to make sure the carb, yeah, it's not stuck or anything. So I think it was run out of gas last time, which is probably going to do it really, do it right, do it up a favor. I'm just going to spray some in here and pull it and see what happens. I don't know if the ignition's hooked up or not, but it has electric start, which if it gives me too much trouble, I'll go that route. Get you set up here. Spraying some carb cleaner for fuel. And let's see if it'll fire at all. Not right away, that's for sure. Possibility of no spark. I'm going to go for the spark plug itself then. I didn't want to pull it if I could just do that quick test, but let's go and see if we got any spark. Feels like we got compression. I'm just going to clean this a little bit. Just going to scuff the sides and get a good surface on that, and I'll bring you back. Put this on some bare metal somewhere, or rusty metal, whatever we happen to have. Let's see if I can see that in the sun. I'm thinking that's no spark. Just to make sure, I'm going to get some known good spark plug. Try that. Try to get a better ground, and then if that doesn't work, we'll tear into the points. Get rid of you. You go in. I'm not seeing any. Try a different spot here for a ground. And here's a trick I don't recommend doing, but it works. If you're out in the bright sun, let it spark the ground, and if that ignites, which it did not, then you have spark. We do not. And just for the heck of it, I disconnected the key switch in case something was shorted in there and was killing the engine. And I still don't see any spark, so we're heading to the points and condenser. Alright, got you set up here. Disturbed every bolt that head had now. There's that plate I was talking about earlier. It's got dimples on it for the to set on the tank. Let me get your line. So some of you might ask, why don't I put an electronic ignition on it? Well, actually my cousin and I did years ago. We got it to run for a minute. It turns out, because this one has a charging system that runs off the flywheel, the magnets are different, and it would not run like that. So I'll scratch that one off the list of possibilities for you as far as why am I doing it this way or that way. That's the ignition that we abandoned years ago. Look at that, only a few bird seeds. That's pretty minimal. Here's a little bit more grass that I didn't get out earlier. Get that right now while I'm looking at it. A couple of leaves. Overall pretty clean. Make sure all these fins are clean. It sucks air in here and then pushes it into the cover and or back and around the engine and through all the components there. Pretty ingenious, really. See what size flywheel nut we're running here. 3/4? Oh yeah, you gotta love the old standards. Let me do different socket, 1/2-inch drive, big impact, just so we don't have to play around with it. Oh yeah, come right off. Let me find my special flywheel remover tool. Okay, let's see what we got. Piece of tape. Let me get you zoomed in here. This is just cardboard, so be easy on it. Look at those points. I believe the points got some crud on them. So all we got to do is fix that up. This I remember we replaced years ago. Probably that's still good. It's probably just the points have been sitting, got a little corrosion on them, and it takes almost nothing to foul out a set of breaker points. Okay, I've got the breaker points. I rotated the engine to this is up. That's top dead center, I guess, and the points are open at this point. I don't know if that's top dead center, but anyway, breaker points are open right now, so I'm going to run the knife through there a little bit first. Trying to just shave any corrosion off there. A little bit of carbon choke cleaner. We got some plastic in there that's probably not designed for solvents use. And then I'll just let that fully dry. Get this flywheel back on. Zoom out a little, I guess we don't need it in that tight. Make sure that key is going to stay put. Yeah. That's it. This little notch goes in the hole, otherwise she'll wobble. And upon further looking, this is the only kill wire that's coming out of the magneto. So the key is just for the starting system only. Ah, that thing. Does it go inside or outside? Probably inside, right? Yeah. It was 7/16. Now we'll check for spark. Let's see. I still don't see spark actually. Pretty sure no. Just for giggles, I'm going to disconnect this. I don't think that's hitting it. No, nothing's touching this. Can't really disconnect that. I guess it's not really a thing that... Oh, it does come off. I think. Aren't you a terminal? Yep. Just to make sure that kill switch isn't shorting somehow. No spark at all. Okay, as I was just going to take the flywheel nut off, I thought just for the heck of it, I'll spin it with my impact socket here. And it does have spark. I don't think I was turning it over fast enough that I could see the spark, but you could see spark as I spin it up. So let's see if it'll work. So yeah, I just put that back together as is. Let's see now. Put a little fuel in that way. This looks like one of those no-name plugs. Something tells me I want to get a name brand plug put in there. I'm going to put a little fuel in that way. And let's see if we hear anything pop. Boy, the recoil cord's kind of short and it's kind of hard to pull on an angle like this. No good. Let me get a battery set up with that automatic electric starter and make it easy on myself. Alright, I got a booster pack set up over here. Alright, now we get a decent spin. Oh yeah, it fired. Yep. Okay, we got ignition. Now we just need to get some regular fuel to it. Okay, so whoever might have missed that last part because I didn't hit record, I just put this back on. And I'm just going to redo the fuel line a little bit. I don't like this large loop they had in it. It makes it easy for changing the filter, but it makes it difficult if there was any water or other contaminants. It's going to want to sit in this loop, and you may have a hard time pushing that out to get the good gas in there if you ever did have any water or whatever in the bottom there. So I'm going to try to route that a little more level. And that one wasn't in there all that far, so maybe I'm going to start with some new hose to get the maximum flexibility. Then I could get a tighter 90 on there and work my way over. Alright, I got you real low here. So here's the tank exit, and here's where we got to get to. So I'm going to put a shutoff in line because I like to be able to run things out of gas, especially items like a tiller that you know, you use it one time in the spring and maybe not again till next spring or to fall, or you know, you're not using it regularly, so it's going to get bad gas and it's going to clog up the carburetor. So I want to be able to shut it off, run it out of gas, even if you didn't run the whole tank out of gas. So let's do that. I got some new fuel line hose. I just went with one of these filter screen types. Some people say these are only for ones with a fuel pump. Some people say this is only one, you know, this is just a screen. This is actually a filter. I personally prefer this kind, but this is just fine for this guy, and it's not so heavy that it's going to weight it down and create that sag that I'm trying to get rid of. Don't you snap up. Now I see why they had a hard time getting it all the way on there last time. It's barely the right size for 1/4 inch. I'm just going to see how tight can I bend that. I can bend that pretty tight without kinking that. That's not bad. I'd rather have something like that, if I can get it to stay up there. I may even get a little clip, because I'd rather have it gravity run all the way down. That's really the best way to do it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to run it across here. I'm going to put my shut off first. So I'm going to cut that about there. I'm going to bring you around the other side here. And yes, I do realize the sun is washing you out a little bit, but it's the best I can do right now, because it is hot out here. And I'm ready to get done with this job. I'm going to put the clips facing down, so when you're trying to get there with your finger, you don't rip your finger open on it. And then, do I even have room for the filter? Barely. Guess I could have started a little farther back. filter, the big part, goes toward the carburetor. Some of them have an arrow on them. I had you out of frame there for a minute, didn't I? I just realized that. Sorry about that. And just a little bit, smallest amount I can to get a clamp onto that. Might have went too short. Let's see if that'll work. Yes, it will. I'm going to use the side cutters to try to get this. Not cutting, I'm just opening it. There we go. Now we can shut it off, change the filter, let it run out, short amount till it gets in the carburetor bolt to run out. And we have a relative downhill without even putting the clamp on there. I don't think a clamp would really improve it that much. We have a relatively good downhill run to the carburetor, which is what we want. Get some fuel in here. Open up my fuel thing and let's see if that needle is stuck or if it's going to overflow or if we're okay. So far looks okay. I'm going to give it a couple cranks here and see what happens. My jump pack, unfortunately, I didn't have it charged very well, so unknown whether it'll have much luck. Let me turn up the throttle a little bit. Sounds like I got it on just about idle or something. Idle kills it, that's what it does. Is that because we're on our... No, we're not on our... It shorts it out to ground once you put your throttle connect cable down. My guess is the carburetor low speed jet is plugged 100%. I'm going to try to not have to remove it. Here's the low speed jet here. Let's see if we can get some carburetor cleaner down in there. and clear it without having to take the carburetor off. And that muffler is already plenty hot, believe me, I can feel it. I'm going to get the pliers to get that out of there. I'm going to spray some carburetor cleaner in that hole and just see if there's any chance we could get that to clear out without having to take apart the carburetor today. I'm going to go out a half, one and a half, two. I don't know how much this one's supposed to be. There are standards on good places to start. Still died. That could be idle too, the more I think about it. Let me put it to full throttle again, get it to start, and then let's see if the idle stop screw is just maybe set way too high. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. The throttle cable hits the kill switch and kills it. So I think we're going to be okay. Let's get it started one more time. Out of it there, a little more power. Well, that tiller runs pretty darn good. Now most engines will run good warm, and it is a hot start right now. But I just want to see, can I pull that fast enough, or does it have to be used with the electric start? folks, I think we got a runner. That cast iron gearbox in there should last for years and years, and there's nothing wrong with that engine. Got a new fuel shutoff on it, new fuel line, so we won't have any kind of issues with that. Electric start works. Forward and reverse work, high and low work, tines work. Everything looks good. Also, any of you that were interested in what engine that is, the Tecumseh HH70. That's H series, and the other H I think is horizontal shaft. 70 is 7 horse. And I think this one's good for another 30 years. It's probably about that old right now. Anyway, I think I'll end this one here. It needs an air filter. Recommended for when you're tilling dirt, because you know, even though the tines are way back there, you could still churn up some dust. So I'm going to put a filter in there, give it an oil change, and then this one will be Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching.